So first of all, I just want to say happy International Day for Street Children. I don't know how many of you have this as a key event in your calendar, but if you don't, you should do. Um, Alfred can maybe tell us a bit more about it later, but it's been a very busy day for the team out in Uganda. The children have done a massive procession down the main street of the town and been on the radio. I even had to do a bit of radio as well here in the UK, but not as much as they've been doing over there. And also we have an incredible newspaper, which the children have written, called News from the Streets. So if you look into the chat, you will find the link to that there. So we highly recommend having a good read of that, because obviously the International Day for Street Children is a day for street children, and we want to be able to hear their own words about their experiences, their stories, their drawings, their poems, you know, what this day means to them. So this newspaper is actually produced in both English and Luganda. So depending which language you would like to view it in, it's available for you there. And heartily recommend that you have a read. So I just wanted to read you a poem from this newspaper actually as we get started, because this is something that particularly touched me and I thought was particularly a special poem. So this was written by Gerald. It is not easy to get food to eat. Sleeping on the way with no bed sheets. Eating dirty foods. A street kid can want to steal, which can lead to being killed. It leads to beg for money. They can be chasing a street kid and he or she can want to cross a road, which makes an accident. Soldiers beat street kids. There is no studies on the street. Difficulty of what to wear. Killing amongst themselves. Fighting amongst themselves. So as you can see, you know, the experiences of the children on the streets can be very stark. And so I do really recommend, if you can take a few minutes to read that newspaper, it is really powerful, I think, the words of the children. But today is not just an opportunity to celebrate the International Day for Street Children, but it's also a chance for us to celebrate what we've managed to achieve at S.A.L.V.E in this period up until now, and to look to the future and see how we could build on our successes together. And it's also an opportunity, if you're one of the wonderful people who've bought some raffle tickets, you will find out today if you were a lucky winner of one of our amazing 15 prizes. However, don't worry, time is not over. We're drawing the raffle at exactly 7:30. So if you've not yet bought your raffle ticket, or if you want to just buy a few extra because you just feel like, do you know what, I want a few more chances at those prizes, then please do have a little click on that link there in the chat and buy yourself a few more tickets, because obviously every ticket bought means that we have more money to help support more children, because every single one of the prizes was donated to us. So yeah, I also wanted to highlight though that this year's theme for the International Day for Street Children is all about celebrating the workers, celebrating the people who support children living on the streets. I'm really pleased that some of our team have managed to make it on here tonight. So special shout out to Alfred and Alan as well, I've managed to see. It's very late at night. They've been busy celebrating with the children all day, and then they're still on here with Zoom with us in the evening. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard work, not gonna lie. You know, it's every day you're out there, you're seeing some of these terrible atrocities, and you know, you want to be able to help every single child, and you can't always do it instantly. So I think just, yeah, massive round of applause to all of you for all your hard work that you're doing. So we wanted to try and really stretch ourselves and our ability to use technology this evening. It may or may not go well, as you may have seen with the first video. A few technical glitches there, but you know, good to challenge yourselves. So now we're going to have a poll, and we're going to ask you to guess how many children that you think S.A.L.V.E has managed to resettle home to date, thanks to all of your support. So I'm just going to launch this poll. Hopefully that's going to appear on your screen. So please take a moment, look at the different options there and see what you think, which option you think it is. Oh, good. I see lots of people voting. Excellent. So yeah, obviously, this is an event called Dreams for the Future. So one of our dreams for the future is to do with wanting to help more children to be able to leave the streets. So, the good news is in the years since we've been running, we have steadily been learning and actually being able to increase the number of children that we've been able to help each year. So, we really want to see that continue and go on to the next level as a key dream for the future, because, we just don't believe that any child should be having to live on the streets. So, I mean, if I give you an example, just last week, we had 2 children with horrendous injuries that we had to take to hospital. One of them had a dislocated leg, and one of them had a stab wound in the back of his head that needed stitches. No child should be having to be put in this situation and living this kind of life where that's going to be happening to them. So yeah, building trust with children on the streets really isn't easy. It's a difficult job, but this is something that we've put a lot of hard work and effort in over the last 14 years to try to make sure that we are able to build that trust with the children, and we are able to be with them as they need us. So our kind of dream for the next 5 years is that we want to be able to help another 500 children to be able to leave the streets. Obviously, that is a very large number, but we think we've got the team, and we know what we're doing now, and we really think that we can make that happen. So thank you everyone for participating in our poll. Drum roll, please. I'm pleased to tell you that actually in the first 14 years of S.A.L.V.E, we managed to help 559 children to be resettled home to their families, which I think is incredible. So yeah, okay, maybe it's ambitious. In the next 5 years, we want to help another 500 children to go home, but we really think that that is what we should be doing, and that is where we should put our energy going forward. So now I'm going to hand over to Alfred. If I can make the poll question go away. Alfred, I'd just like to ask you to introduce yourself. So we weren't quite sure what the internet situation in Uganda was going to be like tonight. It's been a bit unstable. So Alfred has pre-recorded a message he wants to share with you, but he has also managed to attend this evening. So Alfred, over to you. Please introduce yourself to everyone and maybe tell us a little bit about what managed to happen today.
The country director for S.A.L.V.E International here in Uganda. Yeah, it's been a very, very busy shows, and also the children were participating in a number of activities, sharing their success stories. And it was good for S.A.L.V.E as well. We had some of our graduates to come and share their success stories. It was really so inspiring, and the public was so impressed with the great work that we are doing. I know all these success stories wouldn't be possible without supporters like you on ground joining us for this cause. Yeah, I'm really so happy to have joined this event. This event, and I also thank you so much everybody for joining the S.A.L.V.E dream for the future. Yeah, I thought I would not join because of internet connection, but I thought it important to join, and yeah, so my message is recorded. Nicola will play it, and yeah, so this is me, and yeah, it was so great working together for the last 14 years together with Nicola. It's been a great move, and together we've achieved a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Alfred. So fingers crossed technology is with us. We're going to show this video that Alfred is one he recorded earlier.
S.A.L.V.E started 14 years ago in February. It started as a result of a group of people passionately believing that children should not have to live on the streets. Actually, just 3 people sharing a cup of tea, an idea started, and that idea gave birth to S.A.L.V.E International. Since then, the charity has grown significantly as more people have come on board and believed in our vision of no street called home. One of our big landmarks 5 years later was purchasing our 5-acre residential site. Since then, we have built a variety of vital buildings on our site, such as our boys halfway home, such as the emergency center, such as the drug rehab center, the library, the plasticky bottle classroom, and then we have a hall, and mostly recently, our Anam Kara Girls Halfway Home of Healing. Since we started, we have provided street outreach support to 1,950 children through our street walk, drop-in centers, and street sports sessions. We have also given 429 children a safe place to stay at our halfway homes as they progress off the streets. We've also supported a further 92 children to undergo drug rehabilitation center to help them both leave drugs and the streets behind them. We've helped 559 children to be resettled to a loving family home and given follow-up family support. We have educated the 180 street connected children whose families couldn't afford to pay for their schooling. 52 of these young people are now graduated and putting their skills into practice. Yeah, we've also empowered 236 families to start their own businesses so they can provide for themselves and their families. These include specialist programs for their single mothers and in a sustainable agriculture. Yeah, we provided emergency support for the street-connected children and their families through the worst of the COVID-19 lockdowns. In 2020, we managed to run emergency quarantine center for children who are still on the streets to have a safe place to stay. We also gave them soap and hope puzzles for 1,600 vulnerable people. Then in 2021, we gave a further 1,908 people food, soap, and again hope puzzles, plus as well supported the 45 businesses that collapsed due to COVID-19 so that they can, restart again. Well, we couldn't have done all of this without you. You have been with us for every child taken off the streets and resettled home, for every fresh school uniform, every new businesses started, every tree rooted on the ground. You have helped us to provide hope and opportunities where they have been needed most. And we hope that you are as proud as we are of what we have achieved all together. We still have so much more we hope to achieve together. Back to Nicola, who will tell you more.
So yeah, thank you, Alfred, for that really inspiring video, and thank you all for everything you've done to help us to achieve so much over the years. I don't know, but like sometimes you don't take the time to really stop and reflect on these things. So it's actually been an amazing thing recently to just find out actually how many children we have been able to help and how many families we have been able to help over the years, because sometimes you're so busy doing things you don't take the time to really stop and reflect on it as much as you should. So yeah, little could we imagine this is where we would be tonight when 14 years ago we were there, 3 of us drinking a cup of tea together, and now all of you lovely people are here with us, and plus even all the others who couldn't be here with us today. So it just makes me really proud and really happy. Thank you. So now I've got another poll for you, another question. So I'm now going to ask you, how many children do you think are estimated to still be living on the streets around the Ginger area? Because obviously it's very hard to get this figure exact because a lot of the children on the streets do like to hide and to stay hidden. So this is the kind of best estimate that we've got, but we want to hear your views, how many children you think there might be on the streets in the area. So yeah, another key focus or a key dream of ours going forwards is to see how much more we can do for the girls that are on the streets. They are often a lot more hidden than the boys. They choose to be hidden, and they hide themselves in different ways. And it has been a big challenge of our work to try to find different ways to build trust with the girls and to be able to bring them closer to us so that they'll also let us support them. So the most recent research that was done showed that girls maybe made up about 30% of children on the streets. However, at the moment, S.A.L.V.E they only make up about 23% of the children that S.A.L.V.E is supporting. So we are keen to see what more we can do to help to bring more girls closer to us and to be able to support more of the girls. And on my recent trip to Uganda, it was actually really heartbreaking to see how many young girls there were on the streets, and like, yeah, just how young some of the boys and girls are who are using our services now, and that you find them going through the very dangerous rubbish. I mean, a particular moment that really shocked me was seeing all these medical waste, needles just there in the rubbish, and the girls having to search through that to try and find things they can sell. But it's really dangerous, and so obviously the more we can do to help both the boys and the girls to get off the streets is really important. And another thing we've actually found now is that there are more girls actually addicted to drugs. So we have started our drug rehab program, but currently it's just for boys, because initially when we did our research, we thought it was mainly an issue with the boys. But that is something we're now discovering, is that more of the girls are also getting addicted to drugs, maybe to different types of drugs. So we're very keen to actually be able to include them in receiving drug rehab, and that's something that our new amazing Anamkara Home of Healing will allow us to do, because we'll actually have space to be able to have girls who are addicted also be able to come and get the support that they need. So let me just see where you're up to with the poll. So I'm afraid the most people went for the middle answer, 2,800, but the answer, I'm afraid, is 3,750. So there are a lot more children, sadly, on the streets than you realise. So I now have another video that I'm going to try to show you. So hopefully this one is going to behave itself a bit better. And yeah, let's give that a go. Fingers crossed.
Thousands of children in Uganda are regularly sleeping, working, and trying to make a future for themselves on the streets.
S.A.L.V.E is a UK and Ugandan partnership charity supporting children to stop living on the streets in Jinja, Uganda.
S.A.L.V.E has a street outreach program where we build relationships with children to help them leave the streets. And come to its safe residential site where they receive counseling, care, love.
This is our safe place to sleep, where we wash, where we eat, where we play.
We have a drug rehabilitation program for children who are addicted to drugs while still on the street, so they can also get that help they need.
We aim to resettle children back to a loving family home.
We want to ensure street-connected children get quality education so that they have a bright future full of opportunity.
We want to support the children family members to start a business.
Over the next 5 years, our aims are to reach more children, expand our support for girls, strengthen families, and improve funding sustainability.
While we are very proud of what we have achieved, there is still so much to do. Poverty is increasing, and with that, more children are driven to the streets. Children try to make money by searching through dangerous rubbish dumps for scrap metals and plastic. While on the streets, a hit of mafuta, that is aeroplane fuel, costs less than a plate of food, and the children use this to escape the harsh reality of life on the streets. These children are abused, beaten, and vulnerable.
Girls on the streets are even more vulnerable than boys. They are often hidden. We have created a special program for them. We have a safe place for them where they can come and heal.
We met one of her children on the streets of Jinja. We resettled him back home, and we helped her to start a business. And it is now this business that is helping her to take care of other children, to take them to school, pay school fees.
We have some really big ambitions for what we want to achieve.
We genuinely believe there can be no street called home, and that children in Uganda should not live on the streets. But we can only achieve this with your help.
We're trying to be as sustainable as we can to make sure that all the money we're given goes as absolutely far as possible. We have our own permaculture farm to grow food, we do rainwater harvesting, we make environmentally friendly cooking briquettes.
Think of your next challenge, any activity maybe that you've been wanting to do with your friends, and is there a way of trying to help make that also help the work that we're doing? Because we just can't do this without you.
Let us join hands together.
So there is no street called home for children like me.
Yeah, another key area of our work that we're very passionate about, obviously, is solving some of the issues that led the children to the streets in the first place. So some of the key issues that we found is to do with poverty and also to do with family relationship breakdown. Therefore, strengthening families is a really key focus of our work going forwards, and it's something we really want to put a lot of emphasis on. We want to give the right training and support to these families to make sure if we've resettled one child home, that none of their other children ever need to go to the streets after that. And that we've helped to solve any issues that were there so that they don't need to go to the streets again. So if I can give you an example that really inspired me from my recent trip, I actually got to go to a stone quarry. Don't know how many of you have ever been to a stone quarry. Quite recommend it. It was an exciting experience for me, and I got to meet an amazing mum named Fatima, who, she actually has 9 children. We resettled home one of her children from the streets, and she was just over the moon about it. But the problem is 4 of her children were by the first husband, and then the other 5 were by the second husband. And the second husband didn't want to pay any money to support the first 4 children. So she was fully responsible for trying to care for those children by herself. And she didn't have any income to be able to do that with. So she would struggle, and she would do stone quarrying work for others, where she would earn approximately £22 every 3 months for the work that she did. This is back-breaking hard work we're talking about in a stone quarry. So she really struggled to get the money that she needed. So we enrolled her onto our business training program, business empowerment program, and now she is making 3,000 times more than she used to make, and she managed to carry on despite the COVID lockdowns, despite everything. Her business is still going really strong, and she can now fully pay for all of her children who are of school-going age to go to school. And that's exactly the kind of thing we want to see. And that's why strengthening families is a really, really key part of the work that we want to do as S.A.L.V.E going forwards, so that more mums like Fatima can get that chance and the opportunity. She was already doing hard work wanting to support a family. She just didn't have the opportunity to actually work for herself, but she was always having to work for others, and that's where the real difference was made. So I'm afraid we're now approaching the time where the raffle is closing. So I'm now going to just pass over. We're not quite at the raffle draw stage yet, but I'm just going to pass over to the lovely Krish from Tales to Inspire, who are a wonderful organisation who've been partnering with S.A.L.V.E for years now, to just introduce himself and yeah, tell you a little bit more about why he wanted to get involved with S.A.L.V.E as well.
Thank you so much, Nicola, and thank you for having me. So I'm Krish Patana. I'm the founder of Tales to Inspire. Start volunteering in Uganda, and I ended up building a schoolhouse in between Entebbe and Kampala, in a small place really close to Kijansi, and built a schoolhouse to educate 150 children every single term. I then came back to Manchester, back to the Northwest, home sweet home, and started Tales to Inspire. We share people's stories all over the world to encourage people to never give up, and came across Nicola, who was literally working just around the corner. And I couldn't believe it. S.A.L.V.E, Uganda, Ginger. I just got back from there and we just got talking and hit it off. We shared Nicola's story, and since then we've sold our Tales to Inspire book, and the donations of that have gone to each child when they've been able to get rehomed. They've got their own tree, a small tree to be able to nurture as part of their gift, for something for them to look after now, and so much more. I've kind of fallen in love with exactly everything that Nicola does. She's had me doing challenges, triathlons, and all sorts of stuff to support, and I guess everyone on here has done something, which is brilliant, and I'm just absolutely love everything S.A.L.V.E do. So I'm actually really grateful. Thank you so much for having me, Nicola. I'm looking forward to doing, there's so many great prizes. I actually put a few more raffle tickets in just when I started looking over the prizes again. So just some emergency tickets have just gone in, so can't wait to announce them as well. So thanks, Nicola.
Thanks, Krish. That's brilliant. Yeah, so you've just got to wait a few more minutes, everyone, to find out if you were one of those lucky raffle winners or not. But in the meantime, I guess I just want to share a bit more with you about yeah, how we're hoping to sort of strengthen and continue to grow our work. Obviously, we also need to think a lot about our funding sustainability, and how we can, you know, for us to be able to help more children, we have to keep raising money. And obviously we're aware it's a very difficult global world that we're in at the moment, and there's an awful lot of things that need support. So we are just incredibly grateful to all of you for still standing with us and still believing in us and wanting to help us to make sure that these children don't have to live on the streets. So one thing, therefore, I'm going to invite anyone here who is an intrepid mountain climber sort. So as we shared, you know, we started S.A.L.V.E back in 2008. There was a cup of tea involved, but there was also a mountain climb involved. So we climbed, myself and Helen, who's another one of our lovely co-founders, climbed Mount Elgon, which is this beautiful mountain between Uganda and Kenya on the eastern border. It is 4,321 meters high. That's high, by the way. It's hard work, but we got to thinking, you know, S.A.L.V.E's going to turn 15 next year, and wouldn't it be magical and special to be at the top of Mount Elgon on our 15th birthday, you know, with some balloons, and hopefully with some of you lovely people as well who might fancy doing that with us. So if you look in the chat, there is a link there telling you more about this amazing opportunity to come and climb this mountain with us. Alfred has already signed up as well. I'm signed up. So if you would like to come and celebrate our 15th birthday with us up the top of a mountain, and also get the chance to see S.A.L.V.'s work in practice in Ginger, we would absolutely love to have you as part of our team. We're giving you plenty of warning, so there's lots of time for training, hopefully. But if you're already nice and fit, we also have the Peak District Challenge coming up in July. and I've actually signed myself up to do 50k at that one as well. I don't know what's happening. Just seem to be keen to do all of these challenges. I guess you can't really ask other people to do things if you're not willing to come and do them yourself, can you? So the link to the Peak District Challenge has also just popped up in the chat. So, but that one has lots of different options and is a lot closer to home, obviously, for those people in the UK than Mount Elgon. So I think that has options from 10k, 25k, 50k, all the way up to 100k, depending on how much of a challenge you're looking for. So yeah, again, it'd be lovely if you came and joined our teams for that. But yeah, I'm afraid I also do need to share a challenge that has been facing us as a charity in terms of funding. So as you may know, Uganda was the country that has got the dubiously sad title of keeping children out of school the longest during COVID-19. Lots of children who would love to have gone to school couldn't, and there wasn't really access for anything like online learning either. So we've kind of ended up with a bit of a perfect storm, because we have children who have been living on the streets, so they've been out of education anyway, and then COVID has come along and led to them being further out of education. Obviously, the pandemic has hit everyone really hard, and there's a lot of cost of living increases. So sadly, some of the wonderful, kind people who have been supporting some of the children to go to school have had to drop out. So this means that we currently have 36 children who we've kind of committed to help go to school at the moment, who are, we don't have any sponsors for them. We do have people who are kindly helping in our education fund. So 13 of those children's education are now covered by our education fund, but that leaves 23 children without any sponsors, sadly. Plus, we've got another 41 children waiting in the wings who would also love to go to school. So as you can see, we are, you know, this has kind of come about in a large part because of the COVID pandemic. We couldn't really advertise to people about wanting to come and join us and help to make sure children can get an education, because they weren't able to go to school consistently through that period. So now we've kind of ended up with this this really sad situation of lots of children who have that dream of going to school. You know, that is what will change their future, but we're not unable to currently manage to afford to pay for that. So so we just had a question in the chat asking how much it is to sponsor a child's education. So this varies depending on the child. So primary school is cheaper than secondary school, and day school is cheaper than boarding school. So a child who goes to day school for primary school from their family home costs about £20 a month. And then secondary school day is £25 a month. Vocational tends to be around £35 a month, though it can vary a bit depending on the course. And then boarding school, primary boarding school is £40 a month, and secondary boarding school is £50 a month. So yeah, it's not cheap necessarily, but it makes such a huge difference. You know, if a child doesn't get the chance to go to school, that is what's going to turn the future around for them and for their family members as well. I mean, when I was just out in Uganda, one of the young people came and spoke to me and told me, you know, he sees himself as the hope for his family, because he's going to school, he's the one who's going to help the rest of his family. And he's kind of shouldered that responsibility at a young age, and was actually quite proud of the fact that he was the one who was going to help the rest of his family going forwards from there. So yeah, if you are able to help at all with that, there is a link in the chat, either if you're able to give a one-off donation to help us with that, or if you were able to make a regular donation to help support a child's education, we would really appreciate that. I know we've got a lot of people on the call already who do support children, so a massive thank you for continuing to support children with us. We do really, really appreciate that, and it is making a huge difference. I mean, yeah, I think Alfred mentioned earlier, like having some of our alumni come and talk, and yeah, it's when I was out in Uganda recently, we had some of the young people who graduated come, and they were, you know, telling us all about their lives now. And, you know, you've got people who are successfully running their own business. Like one girl's going to start her own hairdressing training school. We've got teachers, mechanics, welders, plumbers, you name it. Like if you need help by someone in Uganda, we're starting to develop a really good network now. Like, I think if your car broke down anywhere in Uganda, we've pretty much got some young person somewhere who could help to fix it for you, which is brilliant. So yeah, if you have any more questions about that, obviously, please do get in touch. We really appreciate it. But any way that you feel able to kind of support us to help to make sure these children can go to school would be greatly, greatly appreciated.
So well done. I want to say thank you to everyone who's donated prizes. Thank you so much to everyone who's put their raffle tickets in. You can only win it if you're in it, right? So thank you so much. But once again, it's not the only way that you can support S.A.L.V.E. There are so many other ways. Look in the chat and you'll see so many links towards being able to support S.A.L.V.E. in their many different ways. So well done, everyone. Fantastic. And thank you so much.
Yay. Thank you so much, Krish, for that. So thank you everyone for your great support with that. We've actually raised over £1,200 for our raffle. So massive thank you to everyone who donated prizes and everyone who bought raffle tickets. That is an incredible result and will really help us to help more children in Uganda. So that's amazing. So I just want to say again a massive thank you to everyone for coming and for wanting to share our dreams for the future with us. I'm actually going to ask Anna to just pop into the chat. So we've sort of been making plans for the next 5 years, and so we have actually got a document with more information in case you are interested to read that. And there's both a summary version and a longer version depending on the level of your interest and how much you would like to read. But obviously we're really hoping that you want to be with us going forwards and to help to make, you know, the last 14 years have been amazing, and we've just been blown away by the amount of support that we've had to reach this stage. So we really hope that you're going to stay with us and help us to make the next 5 years even more amazing, and that we can help even more children to make their dreams come true and to be able to leave the streets.